With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has continued to make phone calls with world leaders since President Donald Trump of the United States, U.S. announced that President Vladimir Putin of Russia will meet with him next week Friday in the U.S. state of Alaska, and stated while answering questions from the White House reporters that there will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both Ukraine and Russia, specifically saying, "We will get some back, and we will get some switched. There will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both," a statement that immediately and apparently drew the attention of the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, who have issued series of video and written press releases since President Donald Trump made the announcement, insisting that Ukraine will not cede any of its territory to Russia for the purpose of peace or to end the war, emphasizing that it was because President Putin occupied part of Ukraine territory in the past and assembled its troops Ukrainian borders without preventive punishment, made him to start full-scale war with Ukraine since 2022, adding that the path to peace for Ukraine must be determined together with Ukraine. This is fundamental. It is important that joint approaches and a shared vision work toward genuine peace, a consolidated position, ceasefire, end of occupation, end of war. According to Trump, the highly anticipated meeting between myself, as President of the United States of America, and President Vladimir Putin, of Russia, will take place next Friday, August 15, 2025, in the great state of Alaska. Further details to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Zelenskyy, in a series of press releases on Saturday, said, "I have not heard any partners express doubts about America's ability to ensure that the war ends. The President of the United States has the levers and the determination. Ukraine has supported all of President Trump's proposals, starting back in February. Ceasefire, all formats have been supported. What is needed now is not a pause in the killings, but a real, lasting peace. Not a ceasefire sometime in the future, in months, but immediately. President Trump told me so, and I fully support it. There must be a just end to the war, and it is Russia that must end the war it started. Ukraine and all partners share the same understanding of the need for a ceasefire, for an end to the killings. There is only one actor opposing this, Putin. His only card is the ability to kill, and he is trying to sell the cessation of killings at the highest possible price. It is important that this does not mislead anyone. Results in Nigeria police force has refuted claims that its men manhandled Sahara Reporters publisher Omiyele Sowore inside cell after the media personnel honored the invitation sent him from the Office of the Inspector General of Police, IGP, over allegations of forgery and criminal defamation of characters, with the police stating in a press release signed and made available after the detained media publisher was released on Friday night that Sowore allegedly brought bandages alongside other personal items when he came to the station to honor the police invitation, and when the IGP ordered internal investigation to ascertain if truly the media publisher was tortured as claimed, Sowore refused to allow medical personnel from the Nigeria police force check the alleged injury on his hand he had claimed he suffered as a result of the police personnel brutality while inside cell. Meanwhile, as at the time Sowore was released on Friday night, bandages were still seen wrapped around one of his hands as seen in the video while he was coming out from the IGP Rapid Response Team, IRT police detention facilities in Abuja, as stated by Sowore in the video. Shortly after his release from detention facilities at the IGP Rapid Response Team on Friday, Sowore posted on his social media handles and said that, "Freedom is never given. It is not a gift from the powerful, nor a token handed down by the oppressor. It must be seized with raw courage, with clarity, and with collective will. Those who sit in power never give it up willingly. That's why we take it back. Because freedom is ours and we will fight until it is no longer a dream but a lived reality. Nigeria Police Force, in a statement issued on August 8, 2025 and made available to the public, said, "The Nigeria Police Force is compelled to address and decisively correct the recent wave of disinformation being peddled in connection with the lawful arrest and detention of Mr. Omoyele Sowore, a figure known for manipulating public narratives and weaponizing propaganda to malign state institutions and their leadership, particularly the Office of the Inspector General of Police." Contrary to the falsehoods being circulated, Mr. Sowore was arrested based on credible, corroborated allegations involving criminal offenses such as forgery, cyberstalking, and other infractions currently under active investigation. The arrest was effected in full compliance with extant legal provisions, and with strict adherence to constitutional safeguards, due process, and the rights of the suspect. To be clear, Mr. Sowore was released on bail well within the 48-hour constitutional window. Human rights activist and founder of Sahara Reporters News Network, Omoyele Sowore has been reportedly manhandled on Thursday early morning inside police cell by officers from the Inspector General of Police, IGP Monitoring Unit, after the journalist honored the invitation sent him from the Office of the Inspector General of Police for a reason not stated, but the media personnel working with Omoyele Sowore, in a statement on Thursday, made available through the verified personal social media handles of Sowore, said that the police presented 2 petitions against Sowore over alleged forgery and defamation of character, adding that some police officers from the IGP monitoring unit as early as 6 a.m. on Thursday entered Sowore's cell at the Force Intelligence Department in Abuja, with alleged pretense to take the media publisher to court, but when the journalist demanded to see the charges against him, he was allegedly handled roughly by a team of armed policemen. This, Barrister Adeyanju Deji petitioned the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, demanding the immediate dismissal of the IGP, Kayode Egbetoken, for allegedly abusing his office by thus using his high-ranking office in the Nigeria Police Force to settle personal scores. Although the Nigeria Police Force has not reacted to these allegations, but the force, in a press release on Thursday afternoon, apparently made statements in relation to the current matters involving the detained media publisher, Omoyele Sowore, by insisting and stating in the press statement that the recent promotions in the Nigeria Police Force was based on merit, and not selective, accusing an unnamed online platform of allegedly sponsoring deliberate falsehoods to tarnish the image of the force, while also calling on officers and men of the force to desist from lobbying to get promoted, saying, "The IGP has warned that any police personnel caught lobbying to get promotion will be made to face disciplinary action." According to the post published via Sowore's social media handles, the media team of the publisher said, "This morning at 6 a.m., a police team led by a chief superintendent of police from the IGP monitoring unit forcibly gained entry into Omoyele Sowore's cell at the Force Intelligence Department in Abuja, claiming they were taking him to court." The team of 9 officers, including 8 heavily armed personnel, handled Sowore roughly when he asked to see the charges and notify his lawyers, breaking his arm in the process, before taking him to another police facility, the media team stated. In another post, the media said, the notorious former SARS officer, DCP Akin Fakorede, presented, "Anambra is no doubt one of the states in Nigeria experiencing incessant and very high rates of kidnapping that in some cases do lead to the death of the abducted victims and killing of security operatives and some other persons around the scene of the mostly monetary crimes of hostage-taking for a ransom. Specifically, our crime reporters gathered that there is hardly no week without 1 or 2 persons being kidnapped along the Onitsha-Owerri Federal Road in Anambra State, especially between Oba community and Ihiala town, as we gathered that most victims of kidnapping in the state are hard-working small and medium-sized business owners who most of whom struggled out of poverty to become wealthy successful traders. This, we learnt, there may be no wealthy successful business owner along the Ihiala-Olu Road left to be kidnapped or forced to pay ransom to the kidnappers, while in Oba, wealthy people are being kidnapped quietly and ransom in millions are paid in silence to the kidnappers. According to members of the community, a young successful businessman was kidnapped recently at a location between the Ober New Road and Old Road junctions shortly after he visited his building construction site, while we also learned that some people in the state to report or contract their friends to kidnappers just to get a share from the ransom that will be paid afterwards, or when such people have issue or dispute with their friends or co-traders. It may interest you to know that the Anambra State Police Command recently arrested a 24-year-old male suspect, Muananye Victor, for allegedly luring his friend to be kidnapped by his criminal gang in Uli, Ihiala local government area of the state, and they reportedly collected a ransom in dollars equivalent to 5.3 million nairas with his gang members, just as gunmen in a not too long distance time abducted a lawyer and 2 other persons in Impolagu, Aguata local government area of Anambra, in addition to previous cases of kidnapping of the owner of the Porsche Club, Chief Ibia Orji, by unknown gunmen after the gunmen killed numbers of persons along the New Ober Newi Road in Idamili South local government area of Anambra State, with the number of those killed at the Porsche nightclub said to be 7, but one of the security operatives was beheaded, and another had his foot cut off and made away with by the invading deadly kidnappers. This occurred shortly after a well-known native doctor or witch doctor, Chidozi Nwangu aka Akwa Okako Tiwaraki, was kidnapped, after his 2 personal aides killed in the vicinity of his hotel at Ober community before the kidnappers effortlessly took him away and was released after ransom in millions were reportedly paid. That not all, on May 21, 2020, Ghana Minister of Defense, Edward Omain Boma, alongside 7 other top government officials and military personnel, have been confirmed dead, after Ghana Armed Forces in a statement on Wednesday had declared the Z-9 military helicopter missing, stating, "The helicopter traveling from the nation capital in Accra to Obuasi in Ashanti region went off from radar at 9:12 a.m. with 3 crew members and 5 passengers on board." Others killed in the helicopter crash, as confirmed by the Office of the President of Ghana, include Dr. Alhaji Murtala Muhammad, MP for Tamale Central, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Alhaji Munaru Muhammad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, Dr. Samuel Sarpong, Vice Chairman of the NDC, Samuel Aboagye, former parliamentary candidate, Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anila, Flying Officer Twumampadu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. It was gathered that the military helicopter went down at Adansi Akrofam in the Ashanti region on Wednesday, for yet to be stated cause of the incident, as video footage showed the burnt beyond recognition bodies of those on board the aircraft. The aircraft was from Accra and heading for Obuasi and is currently off the radar. All efforts are being made to establish contact, the Ghana Armed Forces had stated in a statement earlier on Wednesday. The government of Ghana has directed that all national flags be flown at half-mast in honor of the late government top officials, Edward Omain Boma, Minister for Defense, and Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, among others, who died in the military helicopter crash. According to local media, the fatal incident occurred on Wednesday, August 6, in the Adansi Akrofam district of the Ashanti region, while the 2 ministers, along with 6 others, were en route to Obuasi for official duties. Announcing the directive, Chief of Staff Julius Debra expressed the government's deep sorrow regarding the loss of the 2 senior public officials and others on board the helicopter. The president is emotionally down. The vice president is leading a team to formally inform the families. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu told news reporters following the tragic helicopter crash that claimed the lives of top government officials, including the defense and environment ministers. While announcing the death of all passengers and crew members on board, the Ghana Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, said, on behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Apoku Agumang, who is with us here, and the Government of Ghana, Anambra State Government under the leadership of Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo has said that the state is currently in search of justice over the killing of a young and creative fish farmer, Martin Zafesnachi Onyekesi, well known by his business name as Fish Magnet, who was reportedly shot on the leg while being kidnapped on Sunday the 27th of July 2025, at his residence in Ezinifite village, Okpuno in Awka, the Anambra state capital. This, Dr. George Moghalu, the Labour Party candidate in the forthcoming governorship election in the state, said that Anambra state is no longer safe, adding that people are being killed, slaughtered for their families to bury in silence, while the state governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, looks the other way, with no sympathy, condolence visit or statement. Specifically, Moghalu said, "I must speak frankly, Anambra is no longer safe, not even in the state capital. Our people are being slaughtered, kidnapped, and buried in silence while the government looks the other way. This is not leadership, it is abandonment." Just recently, we lost over 10 lives in a ghastly accident at Amici, Newi South local government area, yet there was no statement, no condolence, not even a visit from the state government. Instead, we see street renamings and political endorsement rallies. Where is our conscience? Moghalu stated, while the former lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu, the detained Biafra agitation leader, Barrister Afeni Ejiofor, said the people of the state are currently romancing with crimes, hiding criminals, and painting absurd narratives on social media to glorify and justify the rising crimes in the state, saying, "The most frightening part, the reckless energy our own people expend defending these killers. When you shield murderers because they are your kinsmen, you embolden them. When you justify kidnappings under the guise of ethnic pride, you leave the gates wide open for the real external aggressors, like armed herdsmen, whose invasion will come when we are weakest and most divided." Anambra State Commissioner for Information, Law Mefa, made the government position known on Sunday after he led other government officials on a condolence visit to the bereaved mother of the victim, who happened to be the woman leader of the Anambra State All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Mrs. Esther Onyekesi. According to Punch newspaper, Onyekere, a son of the woman leader of the Anambra State All Progressives Grand Alliance, was abducted by gunmen at his residence in Ezinifite community, Okpuno, Awka South local government area of Anambra State, in a late-night attack on Saturday, July 26, and was subsequently killed. In a press statement, Nigeria President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on online content creators to create jobs for others, saying, "The digital media is now a central driver of economic growth," while emphasizing that the youths are no longer waiting to be invited into the future, that they are already building the future. Details of the president's statement as made available in a news release signed by the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, on Friday reads verbatim below. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Friday called on young Nigerians active in the digital media space to harness their platforms as instruments of national progress. He urged them to build businesses that create employment, produce content that reflects unifying values, and serve as positive catalysts for societal development. He emphasized the critical importance of verifying information before amplifying it. At the opening of the Progressives Digital Media Summit, themed, "Unveiling the Critical Role of New Media in National Development," President Tinubu said, "Your generation has recognized this moment. You are using digital tools to innovate, educate, and demand accountability. But as your influence grows, so must our collective sense of purpose and responsibility. I urge you to continue using digital platforms to advance our nation's progress. Build businesses that employ others. Create content that uplifts and unites. Use your influence to foster unity, not division." He commended the creativity and resilience of Nigeria's youth as he described digital media as a driving force of economic and social transformation. "It is no longer merely an accessory to life," he said. "From developing innovative platforms to building vibrant online communities, you are demonstrating the determination that is redefining what is possible for this country. You are not waiting for the future, you are building it." Digital media is now a central driver of economic growth, civic engagement, and social change. It broadens representation for those previously unheard. The president said his administration is committed to supporting digital innovation through the National Digital Innovation Fund and policies that promote a thriving startup ecosystem. However, he warned practitioners to remain vigilant against disinformation and cyber threats. Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, praised digital media practitioners who have consistently stood up for Nigeria and projected the nation positively on the global stage. You are the vanguard of a reborn Nigeria, determined to reach for the stars. Under President Tinubu's leadership, our nation has begun its long delay. In line with the requirements of the ceasefire deal reached on Monday night in Malaysia, the military commanders in the three areas along the Thailand-Cambodia border have met on Tuesday, with a resolution that both sides will halt the movements of troops and enforce the ceasefire agreement while waiting till August 4, 2025 for the outcome of the General Border Committee (GBC) meeting to be held, before they will know the next line of action to be taken, which could be to evacuate troops out of the area or continue the war based on the aftermath of the GBC meeting agreed to be hosted by Cambodia next week Monday. The ceasefire mediator, who is the ASEAN chair and Malaysia Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim, who is currently in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, for ASEAN meeting, said in a post via his personal verified X social media account on Tuesday that, as the ASEAN chair, Malaysia has emerged to lead efforts in reconciling Cambodia and Thailand, two neighboring countries that were nearly drawn into a more devastating conflict, adding, with the active involvement of China and the United States, we successfully achieved an immediate and unconditional ceasefire agreements. This is proof that diplomacy must guide our efforts to realize peace and resolute leadership, while stating in his earlier post after the ceasefire agreement was reached, that the ceasefire agreement is a concrete proof of the strength of ASEAN diplomacy, rooted in consensus, negotiation, and humanitarian principles. The Office of the Prime Minister of Malaysia, in a press statement published on its website, stated that, on behalf of the Malaysian government and ASEAN, I must express my deep appreciation and gratitude to both my close friends and associates, the Prime Minister of Cambodia, Samdech Hun Mane, and the Acting Prime Minister of Thailand, Phumtham Wechayoi, for not only being present, gracious enough to participate in very frank discussions, very passionate about securing peace, and due to their efforts and participation, we have seen very positive developmental results that would all go well for Cambodia and Thailand and for ASEAN. The government of Malaysia, Cambodia and Thailand issue this joint press release following the special meeting chaired, hosted and witnessed by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in Putrajaya and participated by Cambodia's Prime Minister Samdech Mohabawatipidai Hun Mane and Thailand's Acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayoi, and co-organized by the United States of America with the active participation of the People's Republic of China, to promote a peaceful resolution to the ongoing situation. PM Hun Mane and Acting PM Phumtham Wechayoi have expressed the positions and willingness for immediate. Nigeria on Monday staged an uncommon welcoming ceremony to appreciate and celebrate the country women football team, who may be apparently correct to be described as winning queens of Africa, as they landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja after the Super Falcons of Nigeria defeated the host Lionesses of Morocco by 3-2 in a breathtaking and thrilling final football match held in Rabat, the capital city of Morocco, on Saturday, marking the 10th triumph of the Super Falcons on the continental stage after the previous triumphs in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON, consecutively in 1998, 2000, 2002, 2004, 2006, 2010, 2014, 2016, 2018 and recently for the 2024 Africa Continental Women Tournaments. Many top government officials, most especially governors and ministers like the governors of Kaduna, Uba Sani, governor of Kwara, Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak and Imho State, Hope Uzodinma, gathered for hours at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, waiting the Super Queens of Africa to arrive, and after welcoming the women football icons home, the governors led the amazing stars of Africa to the West Africa country's presidential villa known as Aso Rock, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu conferred on the 24 Super Falcons football players and the 11-member technical team the National Honors Awards of Officer of the Order of Niger, and gifted them houses each in Abuja with $100,000 each for the 24 women players, which total sum is approximately equivalent to 3.6 billion nairas based on 1,500 nairas exchange rate to a dollar pegged by the president for the 2025 financial year in the country. And in addition, the president gifted the 11-member technical team of the Super Falcons $50,000 each, which approximately represent a total of 825 million nairas, bringing the total cash gift to 4,425 million nairas. During the presentation, President Bola Ahmed said he never wanted to watch the match because he did not want to have high blood pressure, adding that the Super Falcons kept him hungrier as his wife, the First Lady of Nigeria, Oloremi Tinubu, was at the kitchen preparing his food while watching the match, emphasizing the First Lady almost abandoned his dinner because of the football match, and the Super Falcons on Monday could be seen singing, praising and dancing with the First Lady, Oloremi Tinubu, by thus reversing the negativity of the barely 10 days after Israeli soldiers bombed the Holy Family Catholic Church in Gaza. Benjamin Netanyahu, the State of Israel Prime Minister, has said that Israel is now being portrayed as the enemy of Christians, stating that Israel has a thriving Christian community, the only thriving Christian community in the broad radius of the Middle East, where Christians are not tolerated, they're cherished, adding, "You can light Christmas trees in Nazareth, but in Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus, when Israel left and the Palestinian Authority came in, the Christian majority shrank from 80% to under 20%, because there was no more Israel to protect them," though Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did not mention the bombing of the Catholic Church in Gaza that led to the killing of 3 persons and injuring to several people, including the parish priest. It could be recalled that the Israel Defense Forces (IDF) action against the Christian holy place in Gaza sparked global condemnations, with the head of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo XIV, in a statement on Sunday, July 20, 2025, while speaking after his Angelus prayer, read out the names of those killed in the incident and said, "I appeal to the international community to observe humanitarian law and respect the obligation to protect civilians, as well as the prohibition of collective punishment, of indiscriminate use of force and forced displacement of the population." During a church event on Sunday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, while speaking at the Daystars Together as One event in Jerusalem with Pastor Paula White, leader of the Whitehouse Faith Office, said, "Iran is now being projected as the friend of the Americans." Word to word of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech as transcribed and made available by the Office of the Israel Prime Minister on Sunday, reads below. Thank you, Joni. Thank you, Daystar. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, ambassadors and the many friends of Israel in the Christian world. This is the city and the land where it all began. The Judeo-Christian tradition that promoted the belief in monotheism, a single God, that developed the idea of the sanctity of life, the sanctity of individual life, the idea of freedom. In an ancient world that was swamped with massive slavery to build these ancient empires, the Jewish people came out with the idea that slavery should be limited and ultimately removed. This was revolutionary. The beginning of the idea of freedom began in this land, and that idea spread throughout the centuries and especially in modern times, and changed the world. It gives hope to the world. It gives meaning to our lives. It gives a bond between the world's greatest. Royal Thai Army and the Cambodia National Ministry of Defense have both denied firing the 10 projectiles that destroyed civilian houses and properties at Emerald Triangle, a city in Laos, on Thursday, just as both government establishments confirmed early in the morning on Sunday that fighting continued through Saturday night to Sunday morning night despite President Donald Trump of the United States' U.S. statement on Saturday that he has spoken on phone with both the Prime Minister of Cambodia and the acting Prime Minister of Thailand, asking the two parties to agree on immediate ceasefire and failure to do so. According to Trump, U.S. will not make any business deal with both countries. In his words, Trump said, "We happen to be, by coincidence, currently dealing on trade with both countries, but do not want to make any deal with either country if they are fighting, and I have told them so." the call with Thailand is being made momentarily. The call with Cambodia has ended, but expect a call back regarding war stoppage and ceasefire based on what Thailand has to say. I am trying to simplify a complex situation. Many people are being killed in this war, but it very much reminds me of the conflict between Pakistan and India, which was brought to a successful halt. The Lao government had on Friday reported that 10 bombs were found, having been fired into civilian areas and affecting local residents in the Emerald Triangle, a town in Lao that borders both Lao, Thailand and Cambodia. A statement from the Lao People's Armed Forces on Saturday afternoon refuted earlier media reports claiming clashes between the Lao People's Armed Forces and Cambodian armed personnel, describing the reports as untrue. Denying the shelling in Lao, the Royal Thailand Army in a statement on Saturday said that the Royal Thai Army clarifies case of artillery shells landing in Lao PDR territory in Emerald Triangle area, confirms investigation found they were not Thai forces ammunition. According to news reports, on the 24th of July 2025, at approximately 9:40 hours, 10 artillery shells landed in the territory of the Lao People's Democratic Republic, Lao PDR, in the Emerald Triangle area, which is the border junction between Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia, without clear confirmation as to which side the shells belonged to, and preliminarily there were no reports of casualties or property damage from the incident. Major General Wintai Subari, Army spokesperson, issued a clarification that following fact-finding investigations and coordination with security agencies of the Lao PDR, it is confirmed that they were definitely not. Asia is apparently becoming a continent of war as hope of achieving peace in the continent appeared slim since 2023 when fresh wars broke out in the Middle East Asia after Hamas attacked Israel, forcing Israel to launch a multi-front wars in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Iran and Yemen. This occurred as Russia, that has parts of its territory in Asia, had in 2022 launched a full-scale war against its neighboring European country, Ukraine, which the multiple wars have led to millions of deaths, with many in the world expecting an end soon. But, while many in the world hoped for permanent end to the deadly wars, another fresh war broke out during the week on Thursday in the Southeast Asia between Cambodia and Thailand after soldiers from Royal Thai Army of 14th Infantry Battalion on Wednesday stepped on a landmine at Huai Bon, Chongan Ma, Nam Yuen District, Uban Ratchathani Province, within the Thai-Cambodia border area, causing severe injury to one Thailand soldier while 4 other soldiers sustained some level of injuries, making the acting Prime Minister of Thailand, Phumtham Wechayoi, to recall the country's ambassador from Phnom Penh and expelled Cambodia's ambassador to Thailand, leading to heavy military confrontations starting next day morning, which, Cambodian news agency on Saturday reported that tens of thousands of innocent Cambodians, including children, pregnant women, and the elderly, have been forced to flee the military aggression along the border areas, including Preventive, Odaminchi, and Persit, and the Royal Thai Army also on Saturday released a video of its men hoisting the Thai flag at a location and stated that the Thai national flag was raised atop Phu Makwea, following Thai military operations to assault and seize the Phu Makwea area, where it said the Cambodian forces had been heavily positioned, adding that the area was successfully captured during the evening of war on Friday, while the Prime Minister of Thailand, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, who is currently on suspension, blamed the cause of the war on alleged powerful criminals in Cambodia, saying, "The conflict stems from the Thai government's efforts to crack down on call center crimes, dismantling a network of immense financial interests linked to influential groups in Cambodia." Notwithstanding, the Prime Minister of Cambodia, Samdech Mohabova Thapade Hun Mane, in a statement called on Cambodians not to attack businesses and citizens of Thailand living in Cambodia, adding that, after the Prime Minister of Malaysia and the rotating chairman of ASEAN, Anwar Ibrahim, intervened in the matter on Thursday, both countries agreed to a ceasefire slated to start on Friday.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.